Hey guys, the Lord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Miles Morales as he appears in the upcoming, question mark, or is it already out? Video game for PlayStation, not sure if it's PS4 or PS5 or heck PS6 at this point. I don't know, I'm not up on my gaming consoles, but this guy is, of course, a part of the Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave, which, getting into that real quick, he comes with the right leg. So, he is the third figure I've got of this wave, and as you can see here, Armadillo looks to be quite the beefy boy next to him, so... I can't remember who comes with the other leg. Was that, is it J. Jonah Jameson that comes with the other leg? Let me know in the comments below. But the leg, of course, has a thigh cut built in. You can do all this with the hip, and then the knee bends and looks atrocious, and then you can hinge the foot, of course. But you get a whole lot of movement out of that foot. I don't think you can really push it past that point either, so... for the most part, he's just going to be standing straight up and down. So that's kind of whatever. I will say the torso is a lot easier to move now that the soap is kind of soaked into it a little more. It's not as loud. But getting into the meat and taters of this review, Miles Morales here comes with an unmasked head, which is pretty nice sculpt. Not sure if that's game accurate or not. And then he comes with a ridiculous spread of hands. He comes packaged with the thwip hands, which of course have the up and down hinge, or the in and out hinge, I should say. Well, up and down in this case, because that's how you're going to pose these hands most likely. So he comes with two of those. He comes with two wall-crawling hands, which is something that the retro-carded Spider-Man didn't come with, so eat your heart out, you overpriced piece of crap. I say that because people want a mortgage for that figure now, and, well, you could stick it. That's all I gotta say to that. But these two also have the... Again, this would be up and down, considering how you would most likely pose these. Or, you know, these could be relaxed hands. I wouldn't say you could only use these for wall crawling. They look kind of neutral as well. And then it comes with these crazy lightning hands, which look awesome. And I think would look really cool with that Ultimate Electro figure if it didn't have the web lines on them, because they do have that. But I digress. Really cool. They're like translucent bluish, purplish, and they do have the hinges as well. But you could put these on them if you want them to have the power surge. So there you go. But getting into Miles Morales himself here, he is a 100% unique body mold, pinless in both the elbows and the knees, unlike Doctor Strange who just had pinless elbows. Really nice. Kind of wish we got this figure before the Venomized Miles Morales, because that one had the sculpted arms but not the torso, and this one has a sculpted torso, or a new sculpt for the torso, and the arms are pretty much just smooth, but I think that's how it's supposed to be. So yeah, you could have slapped those arms and the hands and the feet on this figure and probably had a better Venomized Miles, to be honest with you, but whatever. What's done is done, I suppose. But as far as the head sculpt goes, I think it should be pretty tight on there, but it is a double ball peg. I will say, one of the better double ball pegs they've done, too. Still not perfect. I think they ought to call up, ooh, that is pretty tough to get on there, so be careful with that. But I think they ought to call up Anthony's Customs. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to these double ball pegs in the neck here. But you can get him to look up. You can get him to look down. He does get a lot of tilt out of that and some rotation. So there you go. Shoulders go out. yeah, you can't really do more than that, which kind of sucks, but at least for a Spider-Man guy character. And then the butterfly joints are kind of hilariously bad because I thought they were just stuck, but they're just super limited. And you're really not even moving the cup part, you're moving the shoulder in the socket for the most part. So I don't even know why they even bothered to give him butterfly joints, because they don't really work. They just feel either stuck or, I don't know, useless. So, that's whatever, I suppose. His shoulders do rotate all the way around, though. You do get a bicep swivel, which is nice and tight on this guy. Double jointed elbow, which because of the pinless tech that they're using here, way less gummy. So I appreciate that. It's got a little flex to it, but it's mostly just the joint itself. It's not the plastic flexing. And then he's got a wrist hinge and swivel. And let's actually take off one of these hands here, which isn't too hard. I wanna see what one of these power surge hands looks like on here, because I have yet to do that, and I am very curious about how these look. Because aesthetically they look awesome, but that's pretty cool. Granted, it literally just looks like a white hand on him, but I've seen worse. Let's put the other one on, why not? Let's have him powered up here, because we can. If I can not drop him on the floor like a klutz. That looks pretty cool. He's got the force lightning going on now. So, yeah, that's cool. I dig that. That's different. Something unique to this version of Spider-Man. And you can even bend him back. Look at that. So you can have him acting like a wizard. You shall not pass! Yeah, that's amusing. Ab crunch works pretty well. Crunches forward. Crunches back, but looks kind of ugly. In the front and on the back, the spider symbol gets broken up there. Kind of wish they continued that. At least painted it, maybe, up into here. Could really care if it's sculpted all the way up into his innards, but, it would have been nice to at least have it painted so it didn't look bad from the back. But chances are you're not going to be looking at him from the back, so I guess I'll let that slide ever so slightly. Nice tight waist swivel. I dig that. Decent range in the hips. Not the best, I don't think, for a Spider-Man. I think the Cyborg Spider-Man takes the cake when it comes to in and out at the hip for a Spider-Man figure. So there's that. You get a thigh rotation. You get a little bit of play on here as far as an extra bit of thigh articulation goes, but not a ton. He can kick forward and back too. Double joint at the knee, which is pinless and nice and tight. And he can kick himself right in the keister there. That's always fun. I stopped talking about that type of stuff. Like, snap his neck, now he's dead. Punch himself in his own face and whatnot. I don't know why. I guess I just didn't review Legends for the longest time. For the longest time. And then he has a hinge in the foot with a rocker joint there. And a little bit of mold flashing on his foot there. Oh, I think I took it off just now. But, yeah. A cool figure of Miles Morales. If you missed out on the comic one, this one isn't bad. It's not the comic, but it's still pretty cool. I like the lightning hands. I think I'm going to leave those on for the rest of the review. Well, maybe not the final thoughts part, but the size comparisons at least. So, with that being said, actually, let's see how easy that other head is to get on. I don't usually do this, but why the heck not? Let's get dangerous, as Darkwing Duck would say. Okay. Well, you know what? That's not going on there, so... not without some heat anyways. So I'm not going to force it. I'm just going to put the... Ugh. Damn. The Spider-Man head back on there with the power of 1,000 suns. Holy crap, man. Don't gotta worry about wobbly head with this one. That's what she said. Ha ha, I got one in there. But with that being said, let's take a look at some comparisons. First up here is good old Miles Morales next to the only other figures I've already taken a look at from this wave. We got Shriek, who I took a look at last week, and Dr. Stephen Strange, the MCU version of Dr. Stephen Strange, who I took a look at the other day. And this wave's coming along quite nicely. I'm liking this wave more than I thought I would because it's a bit Spider-Man heavy, as in there's a lot of Spider-Man himself in it and not a ton of other characters. But with that being said, this is probably one of the better waves to come out this year. I don't know. I'm really digging the pinless tech going on with Shriek and Miles Morales and where Doctor Strange has it anyways. And right now, I'm going to be honest, I think the MCU Doctor Strange is my favorite figure in this set at this current time. I really dig that figure, even though his knees are a little bit on the gummy side. And that's funny because I'm usually not the biggest MCU guy, but that Doctor Strange is just doing something for me. But this Miles Morales here isn't too far behind. I might even like him a little bit more as time goes on. We shall have to wait and see. Up next, here is good old Miles Morales next to good old Miles Morales and good old Miles Morales. Yeah, unlike my Doctor Strange video, I was able to actually get to the older Miles Morales figures in my display. So, there you go, you're welcome. But we got, of course, the Into the Spider-Verse version from the Stiltman wave and the traditional comic book version from the Space Knight Venom wave. Gosh, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? I was in college when that figure came out, which may not seem like that long ago, but for me, it's definitely felt like it. I mean, have you been around the past couple of years? Am I right? That said, I think this new one here is probably my favorite of the three. I like the size of it. Of course, I like the pinless tech. And the articulation is a bit of an improvement to the old comic book version. The Into the Spider-Verse version is awesome too, but I did have a bit of a QC issue on that one, which has been fixed since then. So, kudos to Mr. Bryan for fixing that up for me. But it's also a more specific design from a movie I like a lot, but it wouldn't really fit with my comic stuff. I think this Gamerverse version would, though. So, there's that. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulus and the MK11 Spawn, who as usual towers over everyone. But in this case, I will say that Miles Morales makes a nice addition to the Men in Red and Black Club. This is an older version of Miles, right? A more teenage, 16, 18-year-old version of Miles. I think that's old enough to qualify. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and while I may not have the most connection towards a lot of the Gamerverse characters in the Marvel Legends line, I'm gonna be honest here, this is a really solid release. Can't say I have a whole lot of problems with this guy other than I kind of wish he had a diaphragm joint to mess around with. The Into the Spider-Verse version of Miles does have something like that. It's more like a G.I. Joe classifier where he's got the ab crunch, then the ball jointed waist, but I felt like I could get a little bit more dynamic with the posing on that figure, even though he had baggy clothes. So, you know, it's kind of a nitpicky thing. This guy is super posable compared to some of the Spider-Men we've gotten, but I just want to be able to push him that little bit further, because it is Spider-Man. I feel like if you're going to be able to pose the crap out of anything, it should be a Spider-Man figure, right? Right? Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. And let me know how good this game is if you do have it and or play it. I'm probably not going to get around to it because, well, I'm visually impaired and I suck at video games. So, what are you going to do? But with that being said, if you are at all into this game or just are looking for a very nice Miles Morales figure, then this one should probably fill that space for you. Well, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you are so inclined, please hit that notification bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. Gotta show that algorithm who's boss, right? And if you haven't already, hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.